altars. They're exactly the same. You see the girl, you see the boy, you see the in the middle, you see this pink and yellow. That's the color code for sex and violence. And what you're going to see is it's the exact same picture. You see the man and the woman. You see the woman in blue here, the same color as the blue over here. So what happens when these two get together? What's here in the middle? You get this. If people knew what a church really was, what it really represents, you'd cut out this silliness. So the thing in the middle is what? It's an altar. When these two combine, it creates an altar. An altar is not this thing. An altar is another personality. Right? You can have multiple altars. When Jesus talked to the man and he said, "What is your name, demon?" He said, "Legion, for we are many." That was a guy who let the demons in through the act of Rumpy Pumpy in his behind. If we look at this picture over here, it's exactly the same. And I hate, I have to waste your time showing you how this works, but this is what these guys do. They both represent the same thing. Matter of fact, there's another picture I want to pull up real quick that'll make it crystal clear. So you see the man over here? The woman over here? See it? There you go. In the same color that these lights are. See? See the yellow and the pink? That's called saffron. That represents sex and violence. And here you see it here. And what do you see behind it? Well, you see the atomic explosion. The atomic explosion. So just hang on for a minute. And then you get this. This is the end result. Down here's the black cube. Notice what it says, altered states. Because they're speaking about altered in the mind. In the mind. This is what this whole thing that's going on up there where Stephanie's at. When you start getting into mind control and programming, that's CIA, military industrial complex shit. So the shit that's going on up there, this is why the feds came down, because they didn't want me up there, because I was going to show people this stuff. That's what's going on up there. That's what's tied to all of this. And I don't care if they come down and kill me for putting this shit out. It doesn't matter. I'm an old man. What the fuck do I care? I'm like John Wick when they killed his dog and it's all he had. No, you took the only thing good in my life, so fuck you. All right, so let me go grab that other picture. So if we look at this, and I'm just giving you the breakdown on the color here, it's all codes. That's one thing about computer, it doesn't lie. It delivers exactly the way it's been programmed, so that people that are sending and receiving, it's exact. They can't change one thing. You learn the codes, they're fucked. What did Confucius say? He said, their symbols will be their downfalls. So if we look at this, just to give you evidence of what's going on, what does it say here? Indian cartoon. New 3D Indian anal. Here's that color again. This is from a movie that I watched about a guy who had a demon in him, and it was called Nefarious. There's the color. This is off of somebody's Facebook page. People who like my weird sense of humor. See the color of the shirts? But the weird sense of humor is that these two guys are tethered together because this dude is doing this dude. That's from Napoleon Dynamite. That's the weird sense of humor. But you'd have to know this stuff to get the joke. And then you'd have to post it for people that knew about it. So I just want to show you something. I showed you it's the male and a female. It's the two sides of the brain. One of the biggest things that ever happened on planet Earth in modern history was an exact repeat of the same effing thing. 9/11 was a ritualistic act of sodomy. And they made sure the whole world saw it. And how did they do that? See this here? You don't really think that that's a fireman, do you? This is the left half of the brain, this is the right half of the brain. Through the act of you know what, over here, it fuses the two sides together. Wow, that's interesting. Let me just get a few more things here for you. I have to educate you guys as we go along so that you understand what the perpetrators are into and why the pictures are relevant that condemn them. So we have the two hemispheres of the brain that are destroyed by the act of anal sex on a child. Right there. It is also the first and second temple in the Bible that people keep thinking. A temple is in your head. It's not a stone fucking building. Okay? This is Israel's 9/11 memorial in Jerusalem. I'm sure you've seen this before. It's that shit emoji that everybody thinks is so cute. You know, it represents getting fucked in the ass. And here, oh, you gotta love this one. Look at the fireman. They're making sure that his finger is out because we all know what that is. So there's the finger which represents this, and then this gets shoved up the number 3 in the backside, which is opening the number 3 on the upside. There's your 33, and what happens? Boom. Oh, this is what gets on this when they do that, see? Oh, thank you, Jerusalem, thank you, Jews, for your wonderful help in your masterful play of 9/11. What's 9/11? Let me show you. Remember that movie Back to the Future? See, you gotta remember something. All of these movies are written by Kabbalistic Jews. They're not written by Gentiles. Okay? Kabbalistic Jews. Wow. That's interesting, because that's really their covenant. That's really their covenant. Remember they told you it's the Ark of the Covenant? Well, the Ark is between the left side of the brain and the right side. It's not ARK, it's ARC. It's electrical. It fuses the two sides together. You ever take two pieces of electrical wire and you touch them together and they spark and they stick? That's exactly what happens to the human brain when you do that to a kid. So if you remember the movie Back to the Future, this was the mall he went to. Where did we see this number before? Well, here we're 2, and if we just do this, because they love to put the shit in the movies. If we just do that, and then we're going to do this. All right, there's your 9/11, and it went from 2 pines in the movie to after Doc Brown. That was the name of the guy. Remember the guy he was hanging around with? The old man? Doc Brown? Gee whiz, I wonder what color, what comes out of your body that's brown. I don't know, we'll figure it out. So he's hanging around with a young kid, an old man hanging around with a young kid, experimenting. And after, he goes into a similar world, but it's slightly different. And it's, instead of 2, it's 1. What happened on 9/11 after the 2 towers came down? What did they resurrect? 1 tower. Because 9/11 was the symbolic act of a child being violated. And we all know what group of people did that, because that's their covenant. Let's just make sure what I'm saying is true. No, before I show you what I'm going to show you, remember this here? Remember you had to go 88 miles an hour? Remember? And then you go time traveling, because that's how you time travel, because it's in your head. Why are the tire tracks here? Because the 88 represents 2 serpents, which look like 8s. So you've got 2 8s, 88. What does that mean? Have you ever had deja vu? Well, here's what deja vu is. Your head flips back and forth, from side to side. Just imagine. But every now and then, both sides activate exactly at the same second, and you go, whoa! That feeling that comes over you is like an atomic explosion, but it's associated with memory. So this would be an 8 here. That would be an 8.